Welcome to Mount Vernon Estate, home to George Washington, the first president of the United States and one of the first U.S. consumers of chocolate. Today we are going to learn how chocolate was made in George Washington's time.
My name is Gail Cassidy. I manage the mansion interpreters here at Mount Vernon. And one of the many things that we do, besides our many tours and programs and what you hear in the house, is this chocolate program. We know that the Washingtons drank chocolate, and we thought what a wonderful way to introduce this during the Christmas season and give people an education on how chocolate came to be and how it was drunk, in the 18th century.
Was chocolate grown here at Mount Vernon?
No, you need a tropical environment for that, and I think it's 20 degrees on either side of the equator. And in Washington's time, that was more the Central America location. Venezuela was a place where they got a lot of their chocolate.
So was there any political significance with the American colonies making their own chocolate?
Well, in a sense, I suppose there was some. They broke away from England. They didn't have to purchase their chocolate from England. They could get it cheaper here. They were closer to the source of sugar as well. So putting those two together was certainly something they did in the 18th century. They had about 50 chocolate factories during the American Revolution, whereas I think there were one or two in England at the time. So there's a big difference. And don't forget, chocolate was given to soldiers. It was considered not only a drink, but it was healthy, and it was also used for medicinal purposes, which I think is a great idea. So people were using chocolate, and not only the cacao seed, as you see here, that was ground up and later made into chocolate on the metate, but also the shells. It's called poor man's chocolate. And they would brew that in a tea, and it would give a slight chocolate flavor. So many people in this country, unlike Europeans, could have chocolate, even if it was the poor man's variety. And may I add here at Mount Vernon that George Washington had both. He ordered bushels of chocolate shells, and he ordered the chocolate as well.
So the nice thing about this display is that we really can take people start to finish through the process. You know, we can show them what a cacao pod actually looks like and where it's grown and where it comes from, and take them through those steps all the way up until we have the seeds themselves. And so here we show the roasting of those seeds. You almost think of roasting a coffee bean in a similar sense. The enzymes that are built up during this fermentation process really bring out those flavors and aromas once they're roasted. And you're trying to achieve here kind of a medium roast, that sweet spot where you have just not too much fruitiness, not too much bitterness, things that are really going to bring out the flavors a bit later. But you're left with this roasted seed and the shell, and you have to remove that shell. And so we will show people again how we come from the shell to the nib that is then broken down in the mortar and pestle. You remove the shells as you see here, break down the seed in the mortar and pestle to produce the nibs that are then going to be melted on the metate.
The metate is a lava stone. This is a process that goes back nearly 2,000 years down into Central and South America. And so this lava stone is heated from underneath. They would have used coals. And with another lava stone called a mano, it is a process that, this is the emulsifying process, because every cacao bean is equal parts cocoa butter and cocoa solids. And they're not chocolate yet until you blend them, as you can see on the metate, and you can see it's beginning by the process of smashing them down over 40 to 60 minutes into almost a liquid form that is like a honey-like consistency. And that makes me want some, you know.
Me too.
This is pure chocolate, 100% pure chocolate. And you would then pour that into a mold, and it would come out something like this. And in the 18th century, they then would have used that to make their hot chocolate with.
That's exactly right. So in Washington's time, that chocolate is going to be consumed as a beverage. You may do some cooking with it, but you're not eating this as a chocolate bar. It'd be really, really bitter. So what you're going to do is you're going to take those individual chocolate bars and you're going to grind it down into a powder. And then this is where you can begin to add other flavors. So this is a recipe that we have, an 18th century chocolate recipe. So we have vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, anise seeds. Anise seeds provide a licorice type flavor. Probably the most important flavor that is going to be added to your chocolate is going to be sugar. This raw sugar is what most people in the 18th century would have had, but the Washingtons were wealthy enough that they would have had this white refined sugar, and it comes in a cone like this. It's very hard, but you know, you're going to be able to pick off little pieces with your sugar nippers to taste, to put in your chocolate. Now, hot chocolate is going to be served with water, most likely. You don't have milk year-round. It's only produced sometimes, and you can't keep it cool. No refrigeration. So you're going to have hot water. Sometimes after dinner it might be served with a hot wine. It's in the same category as a tea or a coffee. So you would, you know, offer chocolate at the same time those things are going to be offered. So we have chocolate pots, tall and skinny. It's got a long handle. Probably the most important tool is going to be your dasher or your molinillo. You're going to stick that in your pot and froth it so that you get a nice, rich, creamy chocolate. You might also serve it in a pot like this, warming it underneath. Martha Washington took hot chocolate for breakfast and said that it was her favorite breakfast.
So what would Mrs. Washington eat with her hot chocolate?
It was usually just chocolate.
Interesting.
It was usually just going to be the hot chocolate.
This is what we serve our visitors when they come here to the chocolate tent. We do this in the afternoon. Modern latte machines, but the chocolate is similar to what the Washingtons would have actually had in the mornings or in the afternoons. So they get a taste, and then if they want, they can go down to the shops and actually buy some of that chocolate in a bag. So you can experiment. You can mix that with milk or wine, whatever your preference, but you can do that at home. All right. Would you like? Anybody else?
I can smell all the spices.
Sure.
The cinnamon, the nutmeg.
You can almost taste all the spices
Yes,
if you concentrate on it.
I can even smell the anise. Wow. You know, when I think of the powdered cocoa mix that you just add water to, I think, ugh, this is amazing.
A lot of body to it. It's a meal in a cup.
It is a meal in a cup. Cheers, absolutely. This deserves a cheers.
To your health.
Yes. L'chaim.
Or as they said in the 18th century, cheers to our friends.
Welcome to Mount Vernon. We're so glad to have our visitors come to see us, especially at Christmastide. The General and I are now back from the presidency after 8 long years, and to be home is everything for us. Soon we will mark the celebration of 40 years together. Though many have been spent far away from Mount Vernon in service to the country, when we are home we like to take all advantage of everything that being at home means. Of course, you know, we have a farm here. This is a large farm, Mount Vernon. We grow all manner of wheat and barley and rye. We have cattle and hogs. I'm rather well known for my hams, you know, and all sorts of poultry. But most of all, we have lots of guests, and the General and I do enjoy that. You know, being home means that he keeps to his regular routine, and now, as ever, Farmer Washington is up early. He usually arises long before the sun. In fact, he says no person should ever let the sun be up before they are. And then, after he has settled himself at his desk, he knows that we are going to break the fast at exactly 7 o'clock in the morning. Though now that we are home, he has more than just the mush cakes he enjoys for his breakfast. He loves to drink chocolate. Oh, what a treat chocolate is, and how we do enjoy it. We often are told to offer our guests with a little twinkle in our eye, "Would you like a dish of chocolate as a treat?" And we so delight in that. We have grandchildren now and great-grandchildren, and they do beg for their chocolate, though I warn the General not to spoil them, with the worry that the chocolate may be far too stimulating for the little ones. But still, how can we deny them a treat? You hear our fowl in the air above us? We are on a farm, are we not? And we would like everybody to come and visit us here. And if you come, as well as my hams that I'm well known for again, I hope we can offer all of you a fine, delicious dish of chocolate.
I hope you've enjoyed this trip back in time. Have a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year, and we'll see you in 2012.